Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of GAWDA TV. I'm your host, Adam Vanderhoof. Could not be more excited to be with you today and to welcome you to the newest division of the GAWDA family. GAWDA TV is a multimedia platform that is going to be airing on YouTube on the 1st and 15th of every month, and you can access this from the newsletter that you receive. With this show, we want to talk to GAWDA members like you. We want to bring you on the show and talk to you and other members about what is important in your world today. Bear in mind that this is episode 1, so you're going to notice some small video or audio issues. Bear with us. This show is going to continue to get better and better as time goes on. And episode 1 hits it out of the park. We are going to be talking about the serious issue of COVID-19 and bringing on guests that can talk more about it. This episode's presenting sponsor is Weldcoa. Joining me now is Abydee Butler Moore. She's the president and CEO of Butler Gas and the 2021 GAWDA president. Abydee, great to see you. Thanks for joining GAWDA TV.
Thank you, Adam. Happy to be here.
GAWDA announced in late December that the Spring Management Conference would be moved to May 24th to 26th. Can you explain what went into that decision?
So last fall, we went on site to the property in Nashville. It's a beautiful hotel. It's the Opry Land Gaylord property in Nashville, Tennessee. And prior to that, we had reached out to the hotel folks asking if we could postpone the date. Our contracts with GAWDA events are booked years and years in advance. So we wanted to buy ourselves some time. We knew that we wanted to resume meetings in person in 21, but we were a little apprehensive of the aggressive timeline with the original date being in late March. And when we had gone to the property, nothing was available. Nothing was available on the calendar other than the original dates. So we visited the hotel in the fall. It was myself and Bob Ewing and Natasha and John from headquarters. And we just had a great experience. We met their team. We got a very, warm fuzzy of confidence of the layout and their ability to handle a meeting. And when we went to that, the executive committee with that report, we started doing member outreach calls. And we asked our members, what their tolerance thresholds were like to travel in late March. And we got very apprehensive responses. So we went back to the hotel a second time and said, listen, either we have to resize this meeting drastically, or please look again at the calendar and can we postpone the date? And the headquarters team of Natasha and John did an excellent job in negotiating with the property, and we were able to secure those new dates in late May.
And how will this year's SMC be different from the previous?
Just calling it like it is, I think it's going to be smaller. We're used to working with about an audience size of 700 on the attendee side. That was what we were targeting in spring of 20. So I think, to match the numbers of pre-COVID would be extremely optimistic. So I think it is going to be a smaller, more intimate meeting. The big difference is going to be in the flow of the meeting. We're really spreading things out and making sure that our room size is going to be oversized to make sure that there's lots of social distancing and everything between. But then on the content side, we have a lot of really exciting changes. This is going to be the first meeting to roll out our education tracks. So we have a deep dive into really rich distributor-centric content of 5 education tracks. We were hoping to launch those at the spring meeting of 2020. That meeting was canceled due to the COVID environment. So this is going to be the inaugural meeting of that format. So very content rich. It's going to be hard to send one attendee to catch all the action of all the tracks. Each distributor and supplier member would have to send 5 attendees to hit all those tracks running simultaneously.
And thank you, Abydee. And I know so many people are excited about this upcoming event, and we appreciate you joining GAWDA TV. Have a great day. Introducing the newest product launch from Anthony Welded Products, it's the 3-in-1 cart. Now customers can have the best of all worlds with a fast action cylinder placement band, zinc plated safety chain, and load and roll front caster feature with removable front wheels. Available and ready to ship. Small, medium, and large size carts are available. For more information, click Anthony Welded Products link in the video description below. And joining me now is Nick Mattiace. He's the VP of McKINNEY Welding Supplies. Nick, great to see you. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Great, thanks for having me.
So your company is based in New York City, which has been the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak. Can you explain what this pandemic has been like and how the hospitals have been scrambling to find medical oxygen?
It was unlike anything we've ever seen before, probably much like people are experiencing now. The demand on our oxygen basically had us to drastic levels of supply, which we were able to maintain, luckily. But the demand was something that we've never seen in any years we've done business here.
Your company has been working with Harris Products Group to design custom solutions for 2 field hospitals. What did these custom solutions entail?
So the city of New York contracted a out-of-state company who does disaster relief, and they were contracted to build COVID temporary hospitals in the tennis center and in the Brooklyn cruise terminal. Our general manager, Dan Mattiace, who ran point on the project, received a phone call from this company when they had trouble getting through to the majors that they use nationwide and couldn't get any help. He took the phone call, he ran with it, did an amazing job getting all the coordination between fire department, Harris, Air Products, this company, and getting these COVID hospitals set up. From the first call that he received, once the plans were drawn up, as soon as they signed off on the deal, they had a 470-bed hospital built and ready to accept patients within 8 days.
Yeah, and Nick, do you feel like we as a country are more prepared, for another outbreak or something like this if it does happen again?
I think from our standpoint, from the standpoint of oxygen, I think we're definitely more ready for it. We have a nice blueprint that we've used now, and we actually worked with hospitals in Texas, and we helped build 2 of them there. So a small company here in New York was able to go to Texas and use the same blueprint and able to develop these COVID hospitals that were able to accept patients and really take the strain off the main hospitals.
And thank you, Nick, for being part of the show and appreciate all the insight. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me.
Harris Products Group is proud to have partnered with McKINNEY Welding Supply and so many other great independent gas distributors who service the medical and specialty gas markets nationwide. Harris thanks all distributors who have worked tirelessly through these challenging times. If you have a gas distribution challenge, give Harris a call at 800-733-4043, option 2.
Hello, Dean Kaplan, CEO of Kaplan Industries. Last year was an interesting year for all of us. 2020 tested us, and 2021 will define us. Kaplan is working hard to make this year a year to remember. We are expanding our inventories and adding a new 15,000 square foot warehouse. Give us a call for all your cylinder needs and services, and from our family to yours, all the best.
Joining me now is Dave Mahoney. He's the president and CEO of Noble Gas. Dave, thanks for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
With the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine, can you explain to us all the nationwide need for dry ice distribution and why it's played such a critical role?
Well, specifically with the Pfizer vaccine, the product needs to be kept at extremely cold temperatures. So when Pfizer is shipping vaccine from their factory, it's being packed in about 50 pounds of dry ice. And that shipment is good for about 4 to 5 days. After 4 to 5 days, they need to replenish the dry ice to make sure that they're keeping the vaccine cold. Now, as far as the Moderna vaccine, they also want to keep that cold, but it's not as critical. So it's the dry ice element is more in line with the Pfizer vaccine than any others.
So Noble Gas has worked hand in hand with New York State on the rollout of the vaccine. Can you share some insight into what went into that process and what it's been like?
Sure. I've been in direct contact with Empire State Development which was given guidelines from the governor to go out and find a source for dry ice and to make sure that it was going to be readily available as the vaccine rolled out. So New York State, Empire State Development has been speaking with me on and off to see what our capabilities are, what the availability is, and how we can help any way that we can.
There has been talks on a nationwide shortage of CO2. Have you seen indications of that? And if so, how would this impact dry ice production and vaccine distribution?
Well, there was a shortage last summer and well into the fall, and some of the shortage was due to the lack of need for ethanol. And ethanol plants are where CO2 comes from as a byproduct. So what happened was a lot of these ethanol plants in the US just shut down and stopped producing because the price of oil was extremely cheap and nobody was going anywhere. So there was a glut in the market, and that helped to really make the shortage severe. So the shortage went on right up until November, and things have eased up. The pricing is higher, and one of the reasons my price is higher is because one of the sources for me is an ethanol plant that is still shut down. So my product's having to be brought in from further away, and therefore I'm paying a surcharge on the product. But right now, they're not telling me that I can't get product. It just has to come from a further away source.
Yeah, thanks, Dave, for filling us in on that. We wish you all the best over at Noble Gas. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thanks a lot for having me. Happy New Year.
And joining me now is Rick Schweitzer. He is the General Counsel and Government Affairs Consultant here at GAWDA. Rick, thanks for being a part of the show.
Thanks. Great to be here.
In late December, Congress passed a new stimulus which extended the Payroll Protection Act. Can you explain to GAWDA members what they need to know about this program and how this new stimulus differs from the previous?
Last year, you were eligible to get a Paycheck Protection program loan through the Small Business Administration. The great thing about it was if you followed the rules, it became in essence a forgivable loan, so you didn't have to pay it back. Congress has now decided, since the COVID pandemic has lingered on, that a second round of available funds is necessary, and they have passed a law, and the president signed it into law, to allow an additional $284.5 billion for a second round of loans available to primarily small businesses. They want to focus on companies under 300 employees, but it would be a second draw of loans. So even if you got a PPP loan last year, you would be eligible to have another chance to get a PPP loan this year. And they're trying to make it a little bit easier in the process, both for obtaining the loan and for getting loan forgiveness at the end of the process. To get a new second loan, you'd have to show quarter to quarter from either the first, second, or third quarter in 2020 vis-a-vis the same quarter in 2019 that you had at least a 25% reduction in gross revenue.
There was some confusion and uncertainty about how PPP spending would be applied to year-end taxes. Can you explain what the debate was and how this new legislation addresses it?
Well, last year there was some question because the law that was initially passed seemed to indicate that the expenses would be deductible on your income taxes, even though you essentially got money from the government to pay those expenses. So when they were writing the implementation rules, the Treasury Department took the position that that would be double dipping. You shouldn't be able to get money to pay your expenses plus be able to deduct them on your income taxes. But business went back to government and said, no, that's what you put in the statute. And in this latest congressional act, Congress clarified that yes, they did intend that you could get the money, have the loan forgiven, and deduct the expenses off of your income taxes separately. So both for the first round of PPP loans and the second round of PPP loans, you will be able to deduct the expenses even though the loan money will be forgiven.
Yeah, thank you, Rick, for addressing, I'm sure, a lot of questions that people had in regards to the PPP plan, along with other government questions. Please feel free, join our show again soon. We'd love to have more updates on your side.
My pleasure. Thanks.
GAWDA members, do you know EQUIGAS? Do you know everything they offer? They have a great stock of cryogenic equipment, including tanks, microbulks, and vaporizers. Give them a call. They're well known as. They answer the phone and they ship the same day. And that's a wrap for the first episode of GAWDA TV. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and we look forward to seeing you again on February 15th for episode 2. That episode, we're going to be discussing the need for an effective digital and e-commerce strategy. You do not want to miss episode 2. If you'd like to be part of the show, please feel free to reach out to our managing editor. That's Steve Guglielmo. His email address will be in the link in the description. If you'd like to sponsor and advertise on the show, please reach out to Tim Hudson. His email address will be below as well. Last but not least, please leave some feedback. Let us know how we can improve this show to make it even better for your viewing experience. Thanks so much again for watching. I'm Adam Vanderhoof.